doing something. He might try to join by Zoom later, but.
Okay. Welcome to Foxborough's Conservation Commission meeting. This meeting is being broadcast live and recorded by Foxboro Cable Access. Being 7 p.m., I'll open the meeting. Do we have any public comments? First meeting of the year, but Happy New Year to everyone. It's not January 31st yet, so I can still say it. Do you have some minutes?
Yes. We have minutes for December 11th, 2023. And at that meeting, we discussed various subjects, including the Lane property with a request for a determination from the Recreation Commission. And 52 Water Street, notice of intent was open the public hearing for that. And also a notice of intent for 24 Water Street, which both of them were continued to this date. They did a real good job with all the lengthy topics here. But on page 4 of 5, there was a motion at the top of the page, right in the beginning. Motion was made by Mr. Opatka to endorse the order of conditions for 30 Taylor Road. I think we should make that the motion was made by Mr. Opatka to endorse the order of conditions, because prior to that motion,
It should have been closed.
Rich closed the public hearing, made the motion to close it. That's the only change I would recommend.
Anything else?
No.
Anybody else? Do I hear a second for the minutes?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim Marsh, okay, roll call again. Jim's on Zoom,
Aye.
okay?
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanisoff, aye.
Bob Bodie, aye. Motion's passed. Being 7:05, we have a hearing for 81 Ridge Road. Would you like to read the notice, Tanya?
Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public meeting on Monday, January 29, 2024, at 7:05 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom, on a request for determination of applicability filed by Sean Flaherty for a replacement of a failed septic system at 81 Ridge Road, Assessors Map 034, Parcel 014, within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. This application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. This notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspapers Publishers Association website.
Thank you. Mr. Gray?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, my name is Cameron Gray. I'm here on behalf of our client to discuss the request for determination of applicability for our project at 81 Ridge Road. I have extra copies of the plans if anyone needs one. Okay. So 81 Ridge Road contains an existing single-family home along with an associated garage. It's located on the northerly side of Ridge Road, and it's about 0.7 miles on the intersection with Chestnut Street. The lot borders the Pond Reservoir. It's located to the north here. So the existing septic system consists of a septic tank, distribution box, and flow diffusers, and it's located in between the existing home and the garage. So you can see the septic tank right here. It flows into our distribution box here, and then based off the distribution box, it looks like our flow diffusers are kind of in this area over here. So we're proposing to construct a new septic system with a pump to service the existing single-family home. So we are going to utilize the existing 15,000-gallon septic tank, which will then feed into our 1,000-gallon pump chamber. They'll dose our septic field located at the front of the property along Ridge Road. So since this is a sensitive area, we chose to use a Presby system, which is an innovative and alternative system that provides enhanced secondary treatment to the effluent from the septic tank. So the septic field will sit about 126 feet from the banks of the Neponset Reservoir. So erosion control for this project will consist of a 12-inch silt sock. I don't show it in red, but it's this line right here. And that silt sock will be installed prior to the start of construction and will remain in place until the construction is completed. So due to the small size of the lot and the proximity of the Neponset Reservoir to the lot, the construction of this septic system required 3 waivers from the Foxborough Board of Health. So we met with the Board of Health last Monday on the 22nd, where they granted all 3 of those waivers. And then finally, because this site is located within a Zone 2, the system cannot be expanded beyond the 2-bedroom capacity. So therefore, we prepared a deed notice limiting the number of bedrooms to 2 for the property. And that deed notice will be recorded at the Registry of Deeds before the Board of Health issues a certificate of compliance. And I think that's everything. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Where was the original leaching field?
So the distribution box is right here. I can
Yeah.
zoom in for you. Hold on.
Now, I see the D box, but I didn't see where the,
Yeah, so we didn't really plot the field. When I went to the Board of Health, they have a permit saying they installed 3 flow diffusers, but they didn't really show a location. There's no sketch or anything. So based off the D box, it looks like it's kind of in the area where I'm showing our proposed pump chamber.
okay. All right. Any other questions from the board? John, any comments?
No.
As always, an approved system is better than one that's failing, so. Do we have any comments from the audience? Any questions, comments?
Just timing.
So once all the permits are granted, we anticipate to start probably within the next couple weeks. And then once start construction, it'll probably be about 2 weeks for them to finish the system, just dependent on weather and getting materials.
Anything else?
We have, just, you going to put anything between the road and that you're digging and construction, for any of the mud that might come out on the road and flow down it?
So this site, it actually slopes down towards Neponset Reservoir. So it's a shared driveway with the neighbor next door at 79 Ridge Road. But you can see my contours. So it's 279 up by the road. So we're working at 277. So my thought was just erosion control at the bottom here to prevent any runoff from going down close to the reservoir.
Okay. Want to close the hearing then?
Make a motion that we close the hearing for 81 Ridge Road.
There's
Second.
discussion.
Did we get a number, DEP number?
It's a request.
Determination.
Oh, determination, okay. That's right.
All right. Did I get a second?
Yeah, I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Tanya Orlando.
Jim Marsh.
aye.
Oh, go ahead, Tanya.
Jim, okay. Tanya?
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanisov, aye.
Bob Bodie, aye.
Jim Marsh, aye.
Thank you, Jim. Somebody want to make a motion for negative determination?
Make a motion for a negative determination, 81 Ridge Road, septic system.
Second it?
Discussion? All in favor? Do you have the form, Diana? Okay. Thank you. Being 7:10 p.m., we have a,
Got to vote.
oh, again, okay.
No.
Oh, sorry. Tony Orlando, aye.
Dave Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanishoff, aye.
Bob Bodie, aye.
Jim Marsh, aye.
Okay. All right, now 7:10 p.m., Chestnut Street.
Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, January 29th, 2024, at 7:10 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom on an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Hamilton Square at Chestnut LLC for the property located on Chestnut Street, Assessors Map 68, Parcel 26, to verify the boundaries of all resource areas related to the property. This application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. This notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspaper Publishers Association website.
Thank you, Tanya. Mr. Buckley?
Mr. Chairman, good evening. For the record, my name is Bill Buckley from Bay Colony Group, and I'm here joined this evening with Dr. John Rockwood, who's the wetland scientist who did the delineation. And as you pointed out in the notice, this is a request for an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. So this parcel of land is it's a 5.2 acre parcel, which we put up here on the board. I'm going to kind of zoom in on it, get a better view. So this is the parcel here. This is Hamilton Square. So if you were coming from Mechanic Street up in this area here, you go past St. Mary's Cemetery, you go past Hamilton Square, which is those apartments. This is the Ahern School in the back here. Fox Lane is right across the street from here. So this parcel comes in, it has a relatively skinny entrance here across from Fox Lane, and then it opens up into this 2 acre parcel. And what we've done is Dr. Rockwood has located the wetlands on the property for us. We've physically gone out there and located them with survey crews. The information you see on this plan is, this is from the town's geographic information system, so the topography, the location of the buildings around it are all from that. But the wetland location, the location of the flags are from an actual survey on the ground. So what I'd like to do now is turn it over to John and let him go through it with you.
Okay, Dr. John Rockwood from Ecotech.
See you again.
Good to see you. I delineated the wetland on the property in October of 2023. And basically there's an area of shrub, forested swamp in the southern and central portions of the property. There's a culvert that drains into this near flag A66, which is sort of it's over in the other, little to the left and down.
Okay.
Over in there, yep. It drains in there. We're essentially just looking for the bordering vegetated wetlands boundary to be approved under this ORAD, not all resources on the property. This wetland borders a stream which goes through a culvert down in the south, goes onto Ahern, and goes down and connects to a perennial stream well off property. In the report, there was documentation to demonstrate that it was intermittent. It basically has a watershed area that's below the half square mile. So it's intermittent pursuant to the regulations. Yeah, it's about a quarter of a square mile. So it's well below the half square mile cutoff. And that's pretty much it. It's really just a forested shrub swamp surrounded by upland forest.
John, I know you were out there.
I didn't see any flags that required changing, so I'm good with the delineation as it is. I will confirm that there is a pipe that goes to wetland flag 66. If there is a potential notice of intent that's going to come after this project, we'll probably want to track down where that pipe's coming from.
Okay.
Because it came from the I guess, the parcel to the north. So we just need to make sure that any sort of potential development moving forward addresses any sort of direct discharge to that wetland.
Okay. A number of us were out there also, and just to get us an idea of what it looks like, and we had no problems with it. Any comments from the board?
I would like to know, John mentioned that a vernal pool possibility could not be evaluated because it's so late when you were out there.
Right.
So is there a possibility we do have a vernal pool out there?
Well, it's not mapped as a certified or as a potential.
Right.
Potentials generally get anything that's about 42 feet by 42 feet. That's sort of the size that they were, that's the smallest size they could get with the methodology they used. Any place there's standing water, there's always a possibility. So I can't rule it out, and I can't say that it is.
So with the SANRAD, we're not confirming the presence of any other resource area besides BVW.
Right.
Just the
Yeah.
flags, yeah.
Now, the watershed area, you were just within this lot, the calculations of the watershed area?
It's for the stream to a point well over 200 feet downstream. And the watershed area is a quarter of a square mile.
Does that include the apartments and all of the paving and rooftop up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments from the audience? Oh, by the way, did everyone sign in when you came in? Okay, thank you.
No. Yeah, I might as well ask one question. Why is the where it's draining out, is that not called a stream? More of a permanent type stream, because it was flowing. At least a good maybe 40, 50 feet in, you definitely could pick up a channel.
Right.
So why wouldn't that be called a stream?
Well, it is a stream. It's just not a perennial stream.
It doesn't show up on the USGS as being,
Doesn't?
no.
Okay.
We've had a lot of rain when we were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was flowing very well, but
We've had significant precipitation over the last month and a half.
And this is a significant drainage area too. So,
Okay.
anything else? So I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing for Chestnut Street, map 068, parcel 026, number 157-633.
Here, second?
Second.
Okay, roll call again.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tedesov, aye.
Jim, you still there?
Yep, Jim Morris, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. Do they have the? Anybody want to make a motion to sign the ORAD, NRAD?
Make a
Make a
motion.
motion, we sign the NRAD for Assessors Map 68, parcels 26, DEP 157, 633, and only the resource area that was to be looked at this and approved was a bordering vegetated wetland.
wetland flags 2 through 80, yes.
I second the motion.
Yeah.
All in favor? Jim, you want to start us off?
Sure, Jim Morris, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tedesov, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. It's 7:15 PM. We have a hearing for 46 Ridge Road.
For Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetland Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, January 29th, 2024 at 7:15 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom, on a notice of intent filed by James and Teresa Hines for improvements to an existing single-family residence, landscaping and installation of a removable dock with stairway access at 46 Ridge Road, Assessors Map 45, Parcel 8. Portions of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. The application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. This notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspaper Publishers Association website.
Good evening, Craig Siganowski of RIM Engineering with Jim and Teresa Hines, the property owners. So this property at 46 Ridge Road abuts the Neponset Reservoir, the mean annual high water mark, and there is some BVW along the northwesterly side of the property that comes in off the reservoir as the wetlands resource areas. There's also a floodplain in the reservoir that's Zone A with no elevation determined. Other than the dock area, which is at the edge of the water line we found around elevation 269.8 on an average. We're actually working at elevation 293, so I don't think that the floodplain elevation really comes into play with the proposed improvements to the property. The house was built in the, I thought I had it on the plan, but I believe it was in the 1960s. 1958. For the last probably 10 years, it's been sitting vacant. The previous owner sold it to the Hineses, and now they're looking to add some small additions to the house and improve the property around it. So there's an existing single-family house with sheet 1 of the plans shows overall what we're looking to do, and sheet 2 is just a closer view of the actual area. There's an existing single-family house and a detached garage that's about a bay and a half, so they're looking to add a breezeway to connect the two buildings and expand the garage to 41 feet overall by 22. And that's on the southerly side of the existing house. Northerly side, they're looking to add a sunroom, 13 by 18, and then to the rear of the house, 2 separate patio areas with some grading along the existing yard. If you've been out there, when you come around both sides of the house, it's higher up and then it drops down to a walkout basement, which they like to leave in place. And that walkout area, we're looking to place a pervious paver patio that's about 30 by 30, and it fits inside those existing graded slopes, and we'd just like to regrade those properly because they've been left as is over the years. Many small trees growing out of it that we look to take out and regrade those 2 slopes. On the front of the house, there's an existing gravel driveway with a rough parking area that they'd like to regrade and pave the entire area. The driveway will be about 14 feet wide, and then the parking area is roughly 28 by 36 to allow for parking off to the side. And again, that's already existing gravel. They just like to improve it and then pave it. So the improvements we'd like to make would include roof water recharge areas for both the proposed sunroom and all the proposed expanded garage areas, which would be Caltech chambers. It's all gravel in that area, and both of those chambers would be on upper areas of the around elevation 300 on one side and 296 on the other, well above groundwater. For the driveway, what we're planning to do is grade it so that they can park a car level in front of the garage, and then it slopes at basically a 5-to-1 slope, run it along the proposed expanded parking area with a berm to control the water so that it does not go off towards the reservoir, but then runs off into the corner, and we're showing a riprap area that would slow down the runoff. 6 to 9 inch stones, about a 6 foot by 9 foot area to control runoff as it goes towards into the wooded area, towards the street. In the back behind the 2 patios, we're calling for a small 2 to 3 foot wide grass or planting areas directly abutting the end to help slow down the water, as well as a 2 foot wide stone trench to infiltrate into the soil so to prevent erosion as much as we can down that slope. And then the last improvement they're looking to make is that removable dock at the water line, which would require a staircase. We went out there and located the trees behind the patio, showing a 12-inch oak, 14-inch oak, and down near the water, a couple of big 24-inch white pines. There's very little undergrowth in that area. No trees would have to be cut for the stairway. So we've got it based on the slope and using an 8-inch step. There'd be about 36 steps, so we're calling for several landing areas to rest on. And we have them staggered so the water won't cascade down the stairway towards the lake. And we're calling for there's a detail on the 3rd sheet that calls for the landing area should be built so as a deck so that it have slats between the boards to allow water to infiltrate below the patio, below the landings, so that we're again not creating a cascading water line. And those decks and steps could be set on 4x4 or whatever size a contractor would require, but pressure-treated posts to hold up the steps, and again, there would be no trees required to be removed to create that stairway or the dock.
Would all those posts be put in by hand?
Yeah, it's very steep. You couldn't get a machine on there if you wanted to, but it should be easy digging. It should be all sand.
Okay. I just want to make sure there's no equipment down there.
Right. Now, the other thing we are asking for is to cut several trees, which we listed on the plan. 25 in total, but many of them are 3 to 4 inch white pines that have been growing up in the area that has not been maintained over the years. Where the patios are proposed, there are several larger trees. We looked at them. Many of them are either right next to the proposed garage, trees 21 through 24, and those are larger trees. But many of them are small, like I said, 3 to 4 inch birch and white pine trees. Pretty much a lot of them are growing right where the patio is proposed. The trees that we are showing along the bank, along the top of the slope that drops down to the reservoir, those we're calling to be cut, but the root system to be left in place, so we're not disturbing the actual slope. The ones that are up near the garage would be either removed. The ones closest to the buildings would have to be, the root system would have to be removed, but we're also not next to the top of slope leading to the reservoir at that point. Due to the slope, we're calling for both a silt sock but also a silt fence to be staked in place to prevent runoff to the reservoir during construction.
Anything else?
And that's pretty much covers what we're looking to do.
John, I'm going to let you start off on this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The expert. Okay.
No, I'm definitely not an expert. All right, so Craig, some questions that came up to me.
Yeah.
So the mean annual high water should be bank for the reservoir. We're not dealing with perennial streams, so I just changed the label on that.
Okay.
Some questions, obviously, you kind of answered some of those. Is the material that the staircase is going to be? That's obviously going to be pressure treated with posts. Eventually, that's going to rot and I guess, rot over time. So I guess, having some sort of maintenance plan for those kind of set up, how you guys are basically going to come in and do that. Are you going to, every 10 years come in and redo it, or what's the plan for that?
I don't know of a better material that would not.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to think about how to condition that in a potential order. Would that be, could we condition that, if the staircase or platforms are showing any signs of distress, the landowner could reach out to the Conservation Commission and come in front of us to try to address those changes and not have to basically refile, because, 10 years from now, your permit's going to basically be expired. So what I'm trying to set up is some sort of condition where you could come back and do those changes just with sign off from the commission. So that's kind of something that would potentially be something that the commission could consider putting in the conditions. I guess the other question is with those pervious patios that you're basically going to be installing. I'd like to see a detail sheet showing what the underlying material and composition is going to be under that. I know you had a detail sheet of kind of that, but I would at least show some sand and gravel or something underneath, just a little detail sheet in there, just to show that it's going to basically filter and not shed off onto the grass, because those are basically designed to be permeable. So for instance, the water is just going to go right through. And then with the dock, I guess the question is for me is, you say it's going to be temporary, so obviously lugging that thing up those staircases is going to be quite the extensive task. So I'm thinking, is there an area down near the water where you basically want to store this thing off to the side and just have that be a designated area to store that outside the 25-foot buffer to appease the commission? Maybe put it, at the 30, or, because for instance, I also think that, the commission is going to request to put in some sort of markers, along the waterfront along 25. So just, looking at an area potentially to store this, small dock feature during the off season. Yep, those are the main comments I had.
Looks too shallow, though. Yeah. Well, here's the 25-foot buffer.
Right.
One thing, rather than using pressure treated, how about a synthetic material such as choice deck or Trex? One of those that.
Yeah. I'm aware of the treads. I'm not, if they make the post, I'm sure that's fine.
And that'll last long term. A lot of people find them, they last a very long term. So for instance, you wouldn't have to worry about having to replace those, even though they might be a little bit more pricey to start. It will basically be better.
I know from experience, I've used choice deck, and I've had a deck over 20 years now. And it's still in perfect condition, so. I'm not sure what you'd be able to use for footings on that, but that would be something to look into. And there are others. I just happen to know of choice.
Right. I'm sure my clients would be agreeable with that, less maintenance in the future.
So can I ask you a question about the dock itself? So here on the detail you have on the third page, it's hybrid dock, aluminum sides, lasting support, but then on the picture you have wood decking on top of it. So can you describe to me, how is this dock? What's it made of?
That docu kit that we've used on other properties, it is aluminum, but then it has wooden slats so that you put it together, and it comes with like 1 inch by 4 inch, 4 foot long boards that you put on top. So the surface is wood, but the sides and the poles are aluminum.
And it's still, so I'm just thinking wood is adding a lot of weight, so it's still able to take it out. It's not too heavy to
Well, those slats kind of slide in. They're not screwed down.
Oh, so then you
it
take
can
the
all be
slats out when you
disassembled.
pull it out? Is that the
Yeah.
idea? Okay.
That's the dock that I'm showing that we've used on other places. I don't know if you've chosen a dock.
And these docks, they're good because they don't cause a lot of impediment to the substrate of the pond. It's not going to be permanent. It's going to be temporary. You can remove it. And this area is not subject to natural heritage, so for instance, they're able to use this kind of dock feature rather than other ones that might be the rolling docks or the floating docks. This one would be acceptable at this location.
John, if it's not something like this where it's temporary, so it wouldn't be there all year, like, would we condition the dates?
Yeah, so
Would be in the water?
typically, that would be something that you'd want. You want it to be a seasonal use. So for instance, the commission could determine what is considered seasonal. Now, some people say from November 1st to March 1st, that dock needs to be out of the water. Or you can just determine how you want to make it go for this project.
With the crazy weather we have, been having, I'd hate to,
Yeah, climate change is real, right?
Yes.
So we might want to say at the discretion of the commission.
but then we don't want to be, quote, monitors. I'm not going to run down there and say, hey, the dock's got to come out. So.
No, but you could basically say during the winter season that the dock be removed.
Okay.
And condition it that way, and just leave it to the onus of the applicant or the landowner to use best judgment, because it's their dock that's going to be in there, and they
Yeah.
obviously.
And how cold do they want to be when they're taking it out?
Well, they might want to go ice fishing. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Do we have any conditions making it contingent on when they take the boards? Because they lower it every year, like, is that something we've done before, or is there anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Because they lower it annually,
Yeah.
the reservoir, just to clean it out and stuff,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah, we got monitors on the reservoir that work with Chris and letting him know.
Yeah. But that's not going to affect this, so.
But then again, there's other people on the reservoir that probably leave their docks out there.
now is the reservoir, I don't know this off the top of my head, but is the reservoir monitored and maintained at a certain elevation, water level?
They monitor it, yeah. They take the boards out and put it back in as necessary through the Public Works.
Okay.
The neighbors will call when certain places start to flood a little bit.
Right,
so
well,
they-
the reason why I'm thinking that is obviously, when you're setting the dock in place, you want it to make sure it's above a certain elevation.
Yeah.
That way you don't find your dock floating down somewhere else on the reservoir.
Right.
Okay, anything else?
Okay, so one last tree, so getting down near the dock, so you've got two 24-inch white pines designated to be cut down, or those?
No, those are just showing that we
Are
have,
staying, all right.
they're just showing that we have room without having to remove any trees, and a dock does fit there. And the one is leaning way over the water and eventually will fall down on its own, but
Okay.
we're not looking to do anything to that right now.
All right, no, I read that wrong, sorry, all right, I see.
I'd like to see the location of where you're going to store the dock on the plan. That's going to be referenced in the order of condition.
Okay.
All right?
We did have the last time we were here was just an informal meeting because we hadn't really submitted a plan, but it came before you.
Okay.
And it was mentioned that tree pruning is allowed,
Vista pruning.
vista
yes.
pruning. And how would that, because that other 24-inch pine tree is probably the one that blocks the view the most, but it is right at the water line.
Selective vista, I mean,
Selective
You could
trimming
take
and
limbs off.
maintenance. Selective trimming and maintenance, obviously, could be at the judgment of the conservation agent, once everything gets through. What I usually tell people when I'm working over in Norton is that, as long as you don't take the tree down, but if you want to take down a couple branches or something that might be, basically a hazard, obviously you're building and constructing this to have access for you and your family to basically go down there. The last thing you want is a bunch of limbs falling on you while you're trying to enjoy yourself going down to the water. So, if it becomes kind of a hazard or something like that, and you're trying to basically cut some limbs down to prevent that from happening, that can definitely
Right.
be something to talk about later.
Okay.
So we still need a little bit of data, so we continue this?
Yeah, I think the major things was the storage area for the dock when it's done with the season. And I wanted to see more for the pervious pavers, just getting a little bit more detail on that sheet.
Okay.
But everything else, I think Craig has covered to answer questions. Oh, and then showing kind of what the proposed use of the stairs is going to be, the staircase with material.
Other
I
material.
guess talking to your client and figure out what you guys want to use.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we could request a continuance to the next meeting.
When's our next one, Diana?
February 12th.
2/12. Before I close, any questions or comments from the audience? We're not closing it, but continuing it. But if anybody has anything, okay?
Question.
Well,
Do we need to have additional plantings out in this area, even though it's not down by the water?
What, because of
Some of the
taking
tree
the trees
tree
down?
removal and everything, and that's within 100 feet. Usually we've been asking that you might have certain plantings or certain shrubs, and this is a very sandy area, so it's not going to be wetland plants.
Yeah. Don't know. The ones that they're taking down are not, I don't consider them significant, and they're not in the buffer area. They're up around the house, so if we're in the,
Well, they're in the buffer area.
well, the 100 foot, yeah.
I'm just saying that's been our policy in the past,
Yeah.
to come up with some type of planting program.
Would you like to make a proposal?
I'm going to get it up to the
Well,
commission.
But we had the same issue because we are so high above where the wetlands is. Normally, we're working within a few feet, and we can say, well, this piece of lawn will become wetlands, but there's nothing here we can make into wetlands. And we have a heavily forested lot that we're not looking to make a lot of lawn out of. What's there is there, and they're not looking to expand the lawn area, so we weren't sure what to do for plantings either.
anybody else have any comments?
This is a tough one because, for instance, you're dealing with a very steep slope.
Yeah. Right.
And the area that you're working in that's in the 25-foot area is very narrow. And the potential for a species to take on a steep slope like that is it's not going to be very successful.
Right.
So, your point is valid. Don't get me wrong. I fully agree with you. I will say from a top-down perspective, they are showing a lot of LID improvements on this project, a lot of low-impact development improvements to promote filtration, stormwater management, things of that nature, which are going to improve groundwater and try to promote infiltration. So, I'm looking at it from that perspective as being something that's more important for this site.
Okay.
So as it comes to a very narrow area that they're doing to propose disturbance, I would be okay with them just going forward with the LID improvements for the site. Because it's going to capture the whole entire single-family residential area.
To go for more natural wildlife planting, grass plantings?
So for instance, for stabilization and stuff, I think we could do that. Areas that might be bare from what they're disturbing. But to actually physically put, plantings in areas, I don't know if, what you're going to put there is going to take because, like Bob was saying, that the work in the areas, it's upland plants. It's not wetland plants.
Right.
That are growing there. It's white pine and other kind of upland species. So, I'd say probably in the areas that may be exposed from this project, after they're done with the project, that they just seed and the area with a, upland seed mix or something that's going to be more a stabilization seed mix that's native to New England. I think that would be in the positive.
I think that's something you might want to consider, and also mention it in your plan, that you're going to be revising simply.
Yes.
It doesn't mean the whole place that's disturbed has to be seeded with that material, but it's just something to compensate the areas that are within 100 feet.
Yeah, as we do have a 3-to-1 slope in some areas, so we would have to stabilize that. And I'd mentioned either ground covering plants or grass, but you don't want to have to mow that either. So more of a, natural plantings that you don't have to maintain.
Ground cover.
That would also stabilize the slopes.
And I think, when you do look at and investigate the area that you're gonna basically put for storing this, I guess, seasonal dock, having that area be stabilized with this, stabilization, upland conservation seed mix.
Yep.
Just have that kind of in your proposed plan as well.
Okay.
Anything else? Somebody want to make a motion to continue it till the February 12th?
Make a motion to continue 46 Ridge Road, map 045, parcel 008, DEP number 157-634.
Second.
Discussion? Does this also have to be a roll call? Okay. Jim?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Patrick, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tansoff, aye.
Bob Bodie, aye. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's 7:20 PM. We have 12 Cook Road.
So, pretty
Pronunciation of the name.
pronunciation of the name, the applicant name.
Oh, okay.
This one.
Massacre.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I'll say that.
Or somebody else. Whatever.
Really? Boulet? How do you pronounce it? Boulet.
Okay.
Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetland Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public meeting on Monday, January 29th, 2024, at 7:20 in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom, on a request for determination of applicability filed by Danny Boulet for a proposed addition to a single-family home at 12 Cook Road, Assessors Map 155, parcel 021, within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. The application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. This notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspaper Publishers Association website.
Hello, Craig Ziganowski, Riv Engineering again with the Boulets. So this is a proposal for an in-law addition to the existing house. They've gone through the special permit process with the zoning board and been approved. We went through the Board of Health to get the revised septic system approved. That is 150 feet away from the wetlands. The house is built in 77?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the driveway crossing has been there for quite some time. There is a bordering vegetated wetland that we flagged. There's also an intermittent stream that runs through that wetland that goes under the driveway through the pipes that exist. The 100-foot buffer from the BVW goes through about the middle of the proposed addition. And no work is proposed within the 25 feet work zone. And the area that we're working in is an existing lawn. So we're looking to put a, like I said, an in-law apartment with a connector that goes to the existing house and has a couple of decks on the side. And for this, we're doing, instead of a roof water recharge, if I grab the right plan, I assume you have the plan that shows, we're doing a water collection tank that has a pump in it that would then be used for the irrigation of the area, rather than the Caltech system that I originally had.
Okay. The
That's
rain
on-
flow 1,000-gallon tank.
Right. Sorry, I had the wrong plan with me, but, yeah, so instead of being an infiltration system, they're looking to collect the water, then use it for their yard. It has a pump system built into the tank. It's all in one piece. That would be placed to the west side of the existing sheds and connected to the house roof down spouts through 4-inch PVC piping. Pretty much, like I said, the grading will remain basically the same. We're only filling about a foot around the house, matching the existing first floor of the existing house. Not really changing any of the grading in the front of the building, just along the side and the rear. So if you have any questions about that?
No, I think Craig answered my question. Yeah, I didn't see any stormwater, and that's what one of the comments I had was I didn't see any stormwater. I was like, didn't know what was going on. So that was one of the questions I was going to bring up, but you answered that, so that's fine. So
Yeah.
I don't have any issues in the flags and everything that I saw, so they're okay. So we're good.
So where do you plan to have the stockpile? You have a temporary stockpile detail here, but it doesn't show on here.
Should note where it should be though. Underneath that detail, there shouldn't be any reason to keep soil. They're gonna be putting in a foundation for the existing, the large addition. All that material should be hauled off-site the same day. If anything is stored, it should be between, along the driveway in front of the proposed addition, where it's already disturbed, and have the siltation control around it. There's rock catch basins in the road down there where the trucks would come in and out, so those will have to have siltation sacks put in them to protect the catch basins.
I'm sorry to interrupt you on this one. I do plan on reusing some of the fill if, on the higher part, because I did fencing and my property is actually leaning, it's dipping inwards, so I would like to regrade that with, so that's on the right side, so we're well away from the wetlands area. But just to make sure that we're not clearing that and then I have to repurchase fill.
Right. Right, so it, as the note says, if it's to be stored on site, it needs to have siltation control around the base of the piles.
So you're not proposing that. That's just a detail sheet showing that in the event that it was going to happen, you're kind of prepared for it.
Right.
Is that what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
The entire area of the addition is already like just lawn there currently. There's no trees to be taken down or,
No.
Water goes.
What?
Does it drain that way?
Jim, any questions, comments?
I have no questions or comments.
Okay.
Looks good.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the audience? Anybody want to make a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing for 12 Cook Road, map 45, parcel 14,
Parcel 21 I've got.
45,
Oops,
14.
okay. I'm looking, okay, on the agenda's 21 on, okay.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Your comments for, you're wrong, okay.
should be
Okay,
21.
should be 21, okay.
I don't mind admitting it.
Sorry.
All right,
Gotta wait.
parcel 21, okay. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Yep, roll call.
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Patka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanisov, aye.
Bob Bodie, aye. All right, now that,
For a negative determination.
yes, do you have the paperwork?
Yes.
Going.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion for a negative determination?
I'll make a motion for a negative determination for 12 Cook Road,
And second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Patka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanisov, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. Working around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lots of luck with it.
Thank you.
We have a continued hearing for 52 West Street.
Yeah. And they revised the plans too.
Tree line, and then we move this system.
This is the revised.
Oh, revised, okay. Some revised.
Oh. Take them.
Oh, you didn't take mine?
Good evening, everybody. Russ Waldron here for 52 West Street with Jim Neva from Dunn McKenzie Engineering. So at the last meeting, we were asked to add the tree line to the plan and to see about moving the septic field out of the 100-foot riverfront, and both of those were accomplished. And in my notes, that's all I had for that project.
That's all I had too. Just to show that no new trees were basically gonna come down with the project,
Right.
and that you adhered to DEP's comments. For getting the system, the leaching field out of the inner riparian zone.
Yep.
Do we have a large set of plans for the office?
We do.
Okay, all right. That's all. Okay. Any other comments, questions from the board? Thank you for being able to relocate those and clear it out.
So what was the proposed erosion control?
The proposed erosion control, I believe, is a silt sock
Yeah, it's a silt sock right
Ooh.
around where the addition's gonna go.
Okay.
with the, yeah.
Anything else?
It's pretty flat out there, so
Yeah.
shouldn't be any
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah. Somebody want to make a motion? File number and all.
I make a motion that we close the public hearing for 52 West Street, DEP number 157-632. And
Second.
Discussion?
as part of closing the public hearing, we recognize that a new set of plans have been submitted to the commission showing the revision.
The updates, all right. Yeah,
I don't see
you
a
got
date.
seconded, okay. Roll call, Jim?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Patka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tanisov, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. Order of conditions, are they all set?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I just need to send them over to Diana.
Okay.
I notice on this plan, there's no revision date. You got September 23, 2023. No, these are the plans that,
This side, over here, there's January 8th. On the other side, on the left-hand side.
okay, right there. Okay.
Somebody make a motion to sign the order of conditions? Everybody start signing?
So I'll make a motion to sign the order of conditions for 52 West Street, DEP 157-632.
Do you hear a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Jim, Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Patka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Dennis, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. So you get all the paperwork, Mariana? All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Set.
They're on for the next one.
What's that?
They're on for the next one.
Oh,
Just
okay.
sorry about nowhere. That's all right.
I was waiting for the,
Yeah.
come on, we'll get out of here tonight. All right. We have a continuation for 24 Water Street, 157631. All right.
Evening all, Russ Waldron again. So for Water Street, we were asked to incorporate the riverfront disturbance for past work, specifically the existing deck and septic system. We did that, revised the calculations, and I think I had originally included the entire lot in the riverfront, and we adjusted that accordingly. And, I mean, the change was basically insignificant, you know, incorporating the past work. So, you know, all we had to work with was, you know, the dimensions of the individual components. And I think it might have bumped the total, I don't have the calcs in front of me, but it was like a fraction of a percent, maybe another 100
Right.
to 200
So
of a
the
percent.
question is, you know, obviously, everything that goes with this house becomes cumulative after 1996. So we just need to keep record and tracking, basically, of all the work and disturbance that, basically, from 1996 to the present, of what's been done. So, you know, for us to basically close this out, that's kind of where we're at. We just need basically a tally of the historic, you know, like a table that's like saying historic work efforts, you know, a certain date, whatever it was, with a number associated with it, and then another one that says basically proposed work now, currently, this is what we're doing. So then we just basically can add those. So, you know, it looks like for what you were proposing is that, you know, this lot has about what, 109,000 square feet of riverfront area. So the maximum extent of riverfront area improvements on the property that the commission could approve is 10,900 square feet. So we just need to make sure that all the work that was cumulative from past and current is less than 10,000.
Way less.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting at. So like, for instance, in the future too, when the potential applicant comes in front of us again for any sort of potential project, we know where we basically left off, and we have X amount in the reserve for basically allowing any sort of proposed use in the future. So, you know, my biggest thing is just getting that table for the commission, but I think that's an easy thing for the applicant to provide us. I don't think that should be able to hold up this project from being issued an order of conditions. It's just getting that table so that way we have that information for the future, for any sort of potential development in the future of this project.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So with all that said and done,
Now, you mentioned, John, about the FEMA floodplain zone A determination.
yeah, so here's where it becomes kind of interesting with this project, right, is that some of the work that was done didn't come in front of the Conservation Commission. So, and then, for instance, some of the work that did occur previously was in the mapped FEMA floodplain. And that's before, you know, for instance, this like maybe this applicant, bought the property and this work was already done. I don't know, because I don't know the dates specifically when the work was done. But, I don't think the deck and the supports for the deck are going to be a significant concern. And obviously, the leaching field is outside the floodplain. It's more of the septic pump area. It's currently underground in the floodplain. So that's a concern for them to figure out, I guess, in the future. I mean, if they're having issues with their pump chamber, then, for instance, they're going to have to, relocate it. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't know what the water levels are at that location, but obviously the grades themselves don't look to appear to be they've changed, based on what you can, I guess, look at based on topography. Everything seems to be in line. I'm sure they backfilled everything when they did the original work. But, I don't see it as being a major issue. But obviously, I think they should have basically, whoever was, doing this work should have come in front of the commission at the time to, I guess, propose a project. So. But the good news is that, for instance, the amount of disturbance that they're proposing is cumulative, so it goes against their cap for potential future development on the property.
But, okay, well, all right, yeah. Yeah, the pump would be, okay, but is the pump cover, well, the septic system, all right, they're pretty well, I'm just thinking of infiltration of water into that, but I don't see
I mean,
it's an issue.
it's a designated flood area. It doesn't mean that that's where the groundwater's at or anything like that. I'm just saying that, I just don't know kind of what the groundwater levels are at that location.
Yeah.
But, I will say that I don't see it as being an issue from my perspective. I know DEP had some concerns about the bordering land subject to flooding.
Mm-hmm. What was the DEP comments was,
I mean, I was out at this site. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has been out at this site, but, my assessment and evaluation of this area, I mean, I could not see, that area flooding where they have that deck.
no, no.
So, part of their comments from DEP was it's from the observed extent of flooding.
Yeah, okay.
So, my evaluation would be that the flooding doesn't get to that location. So for the proposed addition, it potentially bring it, being subsequent to the NFIP criteria, because it would potentially put the house or any part of the structure within, FEMA's, and it would require an elevation certificate. I don't think that's going to be something, but obviously that's going to have to go in front of the building commission and, get their determination on that, because that's something that we deal with.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with it because, all right, it's there, where it's located. I have no problem with it, actually, the way it is. And by the way, they do have a beautiful dog there. He stayed inside while I was outside.
He is a nice pooch.
Yeah, I think the only thing that we're looking for is just kind of an outline of what the riverfront, overall riverfront disturbance is for the site so far.
Okay. So can you take care of that?
Yeah, be a pretty small table.
Okay, all right. So you want to continue it until they get that information?
I mean, I would feel comfortable if they send over that table, and, that, for instance, we could basically provide the order conditions to them.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's just it's not gonna, because basically I just need to put that number into the order of conditions.
Okay,
So I just need to have that number, so I can't basically give them the order conditions before, I'm relying on them to give me that information, so that way I can give them the order conditions, so.
okay. So we can close it and condition with that, okay?
Seem reasonable?
Make that motion?
Yeah, I can get that for you, no problem.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing on 24 Water Street, DEP number 157-631.
Do I hear a second?
Second it?
All right, roll call. Jim?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tassau, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. And then we'll issue an order of conditions subject to, or conditioned with the information. Do we have any comments from the audience, by the way? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we need a motion to sign the order of conditions.
Good job.
So I'll make a motion to sign the order of conditions for 24 Water Street.
With the addition of the
With the
additional information.
With the condition that they submit the additional information.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
David Opatka, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Peter Tassau, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye. Anything else?
I've been working on the town report. You have to do two of them, one for the Conservation Commission, one for the Conservation Department. So I'm basically taking last year's and trying to update it. So, and it's due at the end of the week. So I think I'm gonna send it to all you guys, and then if you get anything else you wanna add to it, let me know.
Okay.
It talks about, any policies or any, like, new things that were added to any conservation land. I don't really know. So, so if you guys got anything, let me know.
And they're looking for that pretty soon, aren't they?
For Friday.
Okay, all right,
So, I did most of it today.
good. Thank you for that.
Add a few more things. And I don't know what to say, because generally the Conservation Department is the agent's work. And Jane kind of, remember at the beginning of the year, she was out with her daughter, and then she hasn't been here since September, so there wasn't a heck of a lot that went on.
Yeah.
With her, so we need to fill it in with other stuff. So,
I don't know, do we do any policies?
Hmm?
Did we do any policies in
I don't think
2023?
they did.
I don't think we did.
I don't think
We
she had
used
time to
some of
work on
them, yeah.
anything, because she was out a lot. I mean, I can put nice thing, we got Mr. Thomas here.
I think that the board members here are very active with site visits, so it would be a good idea for them to get Foxborough, I guess, official attire. So when they go out on site visits, people don't think you're just,
I've been mentioning that many years.
Well, we
The
have,
rec board
we
gets
have little
swag.
plate, little,
They have little placards they put in the
Placards that
car,
we
but
put
they don't
in
have
the
like
car.
shirts.
maybe like a hat or something that says Foxborough Conservation Commission on it.
Ooh,
Just a thought.
fancy.
Just a thought. Just throwing it out there.
Well, Mansfield, they got the jackets
Yeah, I
and vests.
know. Board of Health inspections, they all have that kind of stuff, so.
Jackets, yeah, I got
Even the
one too.
rec board is getting like a fleece.
Oh,
Which
now,
they have
if
a-
everybody else getting something,
they
I
have a
want something
budget.
too, for sure, yeah.
but do we have any money in our budget?
Because we say the rec board has a budget, so.
I know Jane has a clothing allowance line in her budget, so, I'm assuming she didn't use much of it, so.
So if Jane's not using it, then I suggest that it gets dispersed to all the members of the board, so that way they can get some sort of official attire, since I'm part-time and a lot of the members are being more reliant on going out to the field and doing these site visits too, so.
Maybe Chris can help us, because,
Talk to Scott for stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
They just ordered stuff for the building department, so.
yeah.
Okay, good. Check it out, please.
Do we have a number of, so my understanding is we've increased the amount of property that is now under town conservation? Like, I know we've done a couple of sidewalks with, we're accepting
Yeah, like
properties.
the Willow Street, like whatever happened with that? I know that got given to the town. Was it officially given to conservation?
I haven't seen anything, I haven't signed anything official on that. As far as I know, we're getting that. They took the barn down, and,
I guess just in the idea of like conservation and something to point toward, like we've increased the amount of property under Conservation Commission by X number of acres, whatever it is. I don't know what the number is, but.
yeah.
Typically, that goes into the budget and everything when you're talking about for like a town warrant meeting or something like that. Usually they ask for updates as to kind of what the board or department has accomplished for that fiscal year. So I'm sure that's something that goes around. If you need help with that, I can definitely help you out.
Just a thought. I'm trying to think of a high point, something we've,
Yeah.
it's positive.
I'll send it to you, Tim.
Yeah, that's fine. I can take a look at it. I'm not going to be able to tell you much about it, but
Okay. All right, thank you for that.
Oh, have you heard anything about the parcel that we looked at?
Oh, not yet. That's, something that happened this spring, hopefully.
Okay. Because the selectmen have that, we got that paperwork that has to be done.
Yeah.
You know, if we want a parcel of land, whether it's being given to us or that.
I mean, that whole thing might change now. I mean, we got a whole procurement department. I don't know if that falls under procurement, but there's a whole bunch of more regulations that we do things under now.
But it being free, it shouldn't be any real.
No, they had that land use policy donation, but that was 2 finance directors ago, so things might be changed now.
Yeah.
the process, I think, still stays the same.
Yeah, but the paperwork might be a little different.
It might be a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're waiting on getting an assessed value, a professional assessor go in and find out what the value is. So, anything else?
I won't be here. I won't be here for the next meeting. So
Okay. All right, we'll talk in between. So, all right, thank you very much.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor? Do we have to roll call that one too?
Jim Marsh, aye.
Tanya Orlando, aye.
Dave O'Patrick, aye.
Rebecca Kelly, aye.
Pete Tanisov, aye.
And Bob Bodie, aye.
No, I just
Thank
cut
you,
and
one
paste
and all.
I just got to paste all these.